Hey guys, Bowie here, and today we're going to talk about Luna support. I noticed Febby spamming the hero recently, and I decided to check why he liked Luna so much. Well, there's a lot of reasons for support Luna to be great. Her skill set is the first thing. Luna is the type of hero that once she wins a fight, she can win the game, and you can see this easily shown here. The game was dead even, and they quickly just ended. In fact, I want to show you a fight Luna takes when they are far behind and they just overpower Radiant. One thing to realize about support Luna is that her Eggs is really good, but against a lot of lineups the item doesn't feel great. Any hero with summons already makes your Eclipse look pretty underwhelming, and in games like this one where Wraith King is in the enemy team, Febby usually just builds Vlads. And why? Well, Vlads gives damage based on your ally stats, and your passive gives, yes, stats. Watch this lifestealer with and without Febby nearby. Febby's lifestealer looks like this. This plays really well with the way Luna's support is played. Since she gets a 400 cast range talent at level 10, she can be alive for the entirety of it, whilst providing everyone much needed damage. Going back to the fight though, it's nighttime, right? Luna has double the night vision of other heroes, meaning in this draft, Dire will always have the upper hand in nighttime fights because there's no Slark or Night Stalker in the enemy team. That in itself is already great, but in a hero with almost the same cast range on her spells as Night Vision, Luna makes for a great addition in the draft. Look how far back Febby is. All he does is kite the Ursa out on a really good spot. Watching the fight, it's hard to realize how impactful Luna is, but when you play the hero, everything just makes sense. In general, Febby always goes Vlad as his first item, usually with Naked Boots and a wand, but if he has hard games, he's okay with going a couple of bracers and just jumping into a bigger item later on. It feels as if he only goes for Vlads if he could get the Bessie for the lane early on, but he doesn't go back for the Basi to start a Vlads most of the time at least. Even though we talked about eggs, this is not a frequent item that he builds, and Febby usually just goes for tanky teamfight items for his team, stuff like Pipe, Greaves, and Vlads. As we talked about, Luna is a hero that can end the game after one fight, so the more allies you have alive after a fight, the bigger the chances you're getting a lane of barracks or forcing buybacks after it. Even in games where he had a Void and no summon heroes on the enemy team, he would opt for Bucklers and Pipes more than Aghanim Scepter. After level 15, your Lucent Beam suddenly has a 2-second cooldown, so that's why going Arcanes is really good on a hero, and Greaves in general is an item he picks a lot. It also makes the hero feel really good when fighting, and after committing to talents, you just have to get the 125 Lucent Beam one at level 20, especially because once you get to 25, Eggs becomes a really good item. As we talked about early on, the other fighting items feel awesome in the early game, but the more high level you become, the better Eggs becomes as well, so always keep that in mind. In this game you're seeing, it takes 38 minutes for them to take a tier 3 tower, and you can see Febby just pinging tier 4s instantly. You don't need to build Luna as a carry playing from the support role to be able to do this. Your auras will maintain your cores alive, and then all there's left to do is win the game. If the enemies don't have enough buybacks, you can just keep pushing and fight against two heroes, because you don't rely on Eclipse that much when you build these teamfight items. While Luna relies on her ult to do damage, I guess in general, everyone in your team is so strong because of you that you just overpower them. Febby eventually dies here, but he can just buy back and finish the game. And this was a common theme in a lot of games Febby played, and you can see he is directly instructing his team to give more emphasis into the pushes. Usually, you're not that in a hurry to push after killing people for like 40 seconds, 20 minutes into the game. But look at the speed they take Rex after winning a really small fight in the mid-game. As they flee from an angry PA, watch how the nighttime vision allows his team to play better around the chasing allies, with his Winter's Curse being used for example. Febby dies at the end, but his job was done, and once he's up, they just win the game. When you think about why support Zeus became popular in the first place, it's easy to understand support Luna, a nuke that has a 6-second cooldown starting at level 1 and also stuns. While you lack the true sight and the damage of level 1 Lightning Bolt, Luna has the pushing power to compensate later on. Position 4 was always about secretly calling yourself a support but scaling and playing a little bit more greedy, and Luna is amazing at it, just like Zeus. Not only she can build any item and still be a powerful force with her auras and Lucent Beam from afar, but she has a great mix of magic and physical damage as well. Maxing the aura after Lucent Beam is, in my opinion, what makes this hero great. In this clip, Febby gets a good lane ward as he defends bottom, thinking about the storm rotation that might come, and because of that vision and the night vision, just look how well they can fight. Because of that, Coop can cast her spells way more easily and just wear Radiant down. This is truly the most underrated part about support Luna, not only the extra mana, HP, and damage for everyone, but the vision. In this game, Febby was against a decent amount of burst damage and felt forced into double Bracer build, and even with only that, you can see how the hero has a lot of potential. All you need is to be close enough for the auras and just spam Lucent Beam like crazy. I think very few heroes in the game benefit from smoke than support Luna. Because she pushes so well and her ult cooldown is big, the types of fights you want to usually have are 5 vs 4s and 3, because if you kill 1 or 2 heroes, as we already saw, you propel the Luna draft towards tier 4s really quickly. While core Luna usually doesn't care that much about ulting creep waves or around, like summons and shit, Febby is always very careful with the way he eclipses. Watch this fight, Radiant engages on Venge, but Febby barely leaves the tree area he's in. He knows that ulting before Haunt or before a creep wave spawns is asking for the damage to be relevant, but once Radiant dives, he can easily dish a lot of damage back, and thanks to the tanky build, he lives and they can push later. I mean, cool, but how do you lane this thing? I never played Luna Bowie. Imagine support for Luna. Well, what about we watch every laning stage Febby won in the last 7 days to understand more about the hero. The first thing we can notice is how the insane move speed from Luna allows her to trade against almost any hero because no one will have boots in the enemy safe lane, this early at least. While Luna's attack range is not really the greatest, her aura alongside her speed makes her great at trading. That's also why you skip the Lucent Being at level 1 and just get the aura, since the damage from level 1 Lucent is quite mediocre to be honest. In this other game, look how Febby can run down the mag and get first blood without boots. This hero looks as if he's a bad support, and he definitely has bad matchups, but the scaling is so good that a lot of the times it doesn't matter. This game is actually quite interesting when you pay attention to Febby's items. He knows he's against a PA plus Magnus lane, and that's probably one of the greediest and weakest lanes ever. So he gets out of the base with Bassi plus 2 branches, no regen whatsoever, and his greediness definitely pays off since it came as a response to Dire's draft instead of blind cockiness. One thing to note from Luna is that just by existing, you and your lane partner get 12 extra damage combined in the laning stage. That's a level 1. Against heroes with bad base damage, that's just asking for you to deny every range creep in the lane, so try to do that. In this other game, we can see a pretty different opener. LS plus Grimstroke is a way better lane, and regen is needed, so the Bassi plus Tango opener is way too greedy. That said, because Luna is one of the highest move speed heroes in the game and pretty much has the move speed of a Rubik with boots, Luna can get away with being a support 4 and trading without that item. This hero is really fast, so you can contest pulls, disengage from the carry, and believe it or not, sometimes gank the mid lane. Your move speed paired with the aura and Lucent Beam is oftentimes enough, and Storm is clearly a hero that can get punished by this. This hero is deceptively tanky. You start with 4 armor, you're fast as hell, and because of your low cooldown nuke, you can win trades against heroes you wouldn't expect to win. The opener for this one is quite similar to that of the game he solo kills a Magnus, once again a Mag 5 with a greedy carry, and thus Febby goes all out. Against lanes that are weak, the playstyle is quite simple. Win the economy war with deny after deny thanks to your damage superiority, contest pulls, and in general just hold the mana for your level 3 when most of your actual aggression starts, at least towards killing. If you watch the Basilius from Febby, he's also constantly turning it on and off, and there's tons of plays you can do with this. If your creeps are pushing on the tower, just turn it on and off to mess with the feeling from the enemy, and if you're just fighting over a ranged creep, just turn it on when you think the enemy is going for the last hit, but turn it off when you're going to deny it. Here we have a Grimstroke plus Bloodseeker lane, a great combination of both sustaining damage, so watch how different his opener is. That said, he gets stick instantly instead of, let's say, Boots or Bassi, and that's because heroes like PA and Bloodseeker are great safe laners to build the item against. Febby is not even level 2, yet he has a 10 charge stick that he uses just to get his HP back. In general, this hero just lanes and focuses on the basics to get levels until 3. When you pair your insane move speed with a stun with 6 seconds cooldown, you can pretty much kill anyone as long as the enemy safe laner is not behind his tower. Against this Caudal plus Morphling lane, he also doubles down on Regen, but the playstyle regardless of the items is quite similar. Focus on getting experience advantage, contest every pull, and block the small camp when you can, and that's it. In general, Febby's openers were way more about stats in Regen than Bassi. The only real scenario where he was getting Bassi from base was against the Magnus and all that. The stats are dope though. The bigger mana pool allows for more harass, the extra HP and damage is great, and you can either eat your branches and, get more sustain in the lane, or you can turn that into wand, you can turn that into Mac. And that's what's great about it. Even though branch is an item that feels kinda dead, there's a lot of items you can go. That said, the early levels are quite chill. Side pull when you can, deny when you can, contest pulls, get either stick or boots in the side shop. You're also really good at stacking because you have a long range ability and a lot of move speed, so whenever possible, stack the safe lane large camp if you know you can side pull, or double stack your triangle once you have boots and your offlaner is not in danger anymore. Generally, this hero struggles against heroes that gap close or heroes that have a lot of sustain and are bulky. The way Luna gets kills and pressures lanes is by slowly wearing them down and eventually killing people, but against this Abba plus CK lane, for instance, there's just no way he can do that. This is one of the few lanes Febby dies, by the way. But yeah, I think that's all I have to say about Support Luna today. Guys, thank you a lot for liking, commenting, and subscribing. This was a crazy week for me, a lot of Dota content being put out. If you enjoy the work that I put in these videos and you want to get even better quality content, because I honestly feel like, at least this week, the quality of the content dropped, but when you're dropping 7 videos a week, it's really hard to do it any different. So whenever we get the editor, not only are we going to be able to keep the output of the channel, but we're also going to be able to maybe increase the content a little more. Thank you again, and I hope you guys have a good one. Bye.